Hello and welcome to the channel. Today what we're going to talk about is Beats Studio Buds review. This is a 2-month review and we're going to check out this product and I'll tell you all about it. Let's go. Alright, so let's talk about what we're going to review in this video. So we're going to talk a little bit about setup and connectivity. We'll talk about battery, noise cancelling, and sound in general. We'll talk about the on-device controls, product quality, exercise, and overall impression. Now, I don't claim to be an expert when it comes to audio. I have had my fair share of headphones, predominantly in the Bose space. So I would say when I give some ratings or reviews, I'm generally comparing it against some of these headphones that I've used in the past itself. All right, so let's start with setup and connectivity. So it is compatible with iOS and Android. I'm an Android user, so that's really the basis of my video here is on Android. I found that the setup was pretty clean. You do need to go ahead and download the Beats app from your appropriate store. This is the user interface, or at least part of it, that you'll see once you have the app installed. It will help you with connecting. It'll also give you signals around battery levels. So here you can see I've got the battery levels for the buds themselves, and then the battery level for the charging case, which I have right here. Now, this is also the easiest way where you can turn on the noise cancellation settings. We've got that here where you got noise cancellation, none, and then transparency mode. And I'll talk a little bit more about transparency mode in a bit. And overall, I would say that setup and connectivity has been good. It's been stable. I haven't had issues. I haven't had issues where I have to go and reconnect and reset everything. So I am giving this a thumbs up when it comes to setup and connectivity. Next up, battery. So on the Apple or Beats by Dre website, they do talk about up to 8 hours of listening time, which you see here. Now, of course, they have a disclaimer, and as you read more into the disclaimer, that's without any noise cancellation being enabled, and it's also at volume at 50%. And so this is where, don't expect 8 hours, especially if you're using noise cancellation. I can't say that I've tried and sat and listened to these for 8 hours continuous while not having noise cancellation on, so I don't know about that. But what I do know about with noise cancellation is that my experience was underwhelming. Travel's a big reason why I bought these. I think just having convenient noise cancelling earbuds is super handy for me. Previously I used those QC20s with the wired, but when I got a new phone, obviously the headphone jack disappeared, so I wanted Bluetooth plus noise cancellation. Now, I recently took a flight from Houston to Seattle. It was about 4 hours, 15 minutes, and really what was happening was towards the end of that flight, I was getting the warning, the battery warning. And so I ended up actually taking one out, putting it in the charger and listening to one ear until that one was dead, and then I had to switch and that. So I would say not really happy with the battery experience. The good news is that it does charge pretty fast when you have them in this case, and you can see that here on their propaganda. If you need a little extra juice, 5 minutes of fast fuel gives you 1 hour of playback. Now I suspect that's probably without noise cancellation, but here it is. So overall, not really pumped about the battery life on these particular earbuds. Now let's talk a little bit about noise cancelling itself. So there are 3 modes, as I mentioned: noise cancelling, off, and then transparency. So transparency is where you want to allow sounds in. And so what maybe you're going out for a run in a busy city, you want to be aware of your surroundings, you can allow some of that noise in so that you aren't, if you're aware of your surroundings. Now, I'd say noise cancelling is pretty good, and I think it's partly due to the underlying technology, and I would say it's also partly due to the design of the earbud itself. So you can see that we've got, kind of your typical sort of tip here, and this tip really creates a little bit of a suction cup type feeling inside of your ear. And so even recently I was sitting in the office without noise cancelling on, and people would come up and talk to you and you can't really even hear them because they're sucked into your ear quite well. So I think it's partly that, and then partly noise cancelling. You can definitely tell the difference if you toggle noise cancelling on or off. You will easily be able to hear more noise coming in. Now, in terms of sound, I like a variety of music and audiobooks, and overall, I've been satisfied with it. Like, I'm not going to get into the technical depth of different pitches and all that, but I've listened to top 40 country rap, and it's been good. Recently listened to the Post Malone release, his new album, like multiple times, continuous on with these earbuds, and was quite happy. So overall, for noise canceling and sound, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Obviously, you need to think that these are earbuds, right? I'm not going to compare these to like over the ear, some of those niche headphone brands that exist. I would say for just general purpose, I'm giving it a thumbs up. Next up, on-device controls. I'm not a big fan of the on-device controls. So you can see here, I've got like the different menu of the things that you can do. And how you enact that is at the edge here, this is essentially a button. And so you can kind of see on the screen, this represented is that when you press this, now you're interacting with the earbuds itself. So you can see here that if you want to play or pause, you would hit the button once. Same thing with answer or ending a phone call. Then we've got fast forward, so you're going to hit twice. And then we've got rewind 3 times. Good luck getting that to work. And then we've got changing your noise cancellation settings. So a long pause. And that's where this becomes pretty frustrating because you can start to like lose where you're at, and then you just open up your phone and go to the app and just toggle it and then make sure you know exactly what setting you're on. And so I would say like this button is a little bit awkward, especially when running, right? Because you hear and you're pushing this into your ear, which I find is a little bit odd. Now, what you can do, I find, is using the other arm to then do it, have a little bit sort of more success from that perspective. So overall, not a big fan. I feel like Apple has better gestures. I think even the Microsoft Surface earbuds, those have better gestures than this. So not a big fan of the gestures and the on-device controls. Now, product quality, overall, I think it's pretty good. Like, it doesn't feel cheap. I've dropped this thing a few times, more than I would have liked. It's still, there's no cracks, there's no damage. The earbuds themselves, like, they feel good quality. It doesn't feel like, just they're cheap and they're gonna break. And so, overall, I'm pretty happy. It's a decent size. Put this in my hand. It's something where you can easily put in your pants pocket, or you throw it into your backpack, and it's not going to take up a whole lot of room. So overall, I'm giving it a thumbs up for product quality. Now, exercise. I exercise regularly. Generally, I try to lift weights. I do a fair bit of running as well, and I would say that mileage varies here. The earbuds are good for short or low intensity exercise. And what I mean by that is once you start to sweat, these earbuds will start to become loose. And you have these tips on it, which is kind of like a rubber, and it starts to get, water in there, sweat in there, and then these start to get unlodged. And when you do that, you find yourself constantly putting them back in. And it's not a great feeling. So from my experience, if I'm doing, say, half hour on a treadmill, I won't have any issues. But if I start to do a longer run, like 45 minutes, I'm going to have issues, and I'm going to be finding myself constantly trying to readjust them. If you're just lifting weights, going for a walk, you're not going to run into those issues. And so you should be fine from that perspective. And then lastly, the transparency mode is actually quite nice. If you are in a busy environment, you want to be aware of your surroundings. Sometimes you might not feel comfortable running with noise cancellation on because you can't hear, people or wildlife around you. And so having some of that transparency is pretty good. So this is kind of a little bit of a mixed message. I think for casual workouts, I think it's a good device. For if you're a marathon runner, or you like to ride your bike long distances, I wouldn't recommend it for those purposes. So overall, I think mileage may vary, and I think it very much depends on your needs. And that's why I've really tried to break this down so you can choose what's important for you. But overall, I'm satisfied with these buds. I think it's a solidly built product. I think there's quality sound. I use them daily. And so for that reason, I am happy with the price. And there is some good value from that perspective. So be interested in your perspective. Do you have these? Are you thinking about these? And go ahead and put any feedback in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for checking out this video, and we'll see you soon. Take care.